calls. I mean, Terry and I have our weekly phone calls that, we hit on everything for about an hour, usually in the morning, and it's one of the pleasures of my life. I thoroughly enjoy Terry. She's going to be missed by our students, by our staff, by our Greece community. I mean, she's still going to stay involved. She's jumping on the audit committee. She's leaving. She's going to stay involved in Act for Education. She's in GEF, the credit union. She runs the credit union. She's a tremendous asset to this community. I'm going to truly miss Terry Malor, and I just want to thank her for everything she's done for Greece Central.
Terry, I've known Terry for a number of years outside of this position. I can't thank you enough for the impact that you've had on me just during this transition. You've been such a support. You've been a listener when needed. You've offered advice in the way Terry offers advice. And you've been somebody that I can rely on as a voice to kind of navigate this transition. I can't put words into how grateful I am and how much you will be missed as a board member, but I know that you're going to be on committees and all around, so I know that we'll be seeing each other on a regular basis, but I'm just so grateful for you and what you've done for this district and for this board. Words really can't explain that, so thank you so much.
And now we have a special guest star. Our former superintendent would like to come up, Kathy Groutman, to say a few words about Terry.
I'm like that annoying person that when I heard that tonight was Terry's last meeting, I really wanted to come and address the board and Terry and just say a few words. So thanks so much for indulging me and having me. It is certainly a privilege to stand here tonight and share a few thoughts about Terry Malor. My mind, when I thought of you leaving, immediately filled with a ton of memories because we spent 10 years together. I vividly remember being a new superintendent, and this was 10 years ago, finding my way and working to get to know the board. One of my earliest and most telling conversations that I had with Terry was a morning at breakfast when she looked at me and said, I've always wanted to be a board member. Now, that is a declaration that is not often heard. She had such a clear sense and purpose and pride in her voice, a deep understanding of the responsibility that she carried for the community. Over the years, that initial impression only deepened. It became so evident that why Terry was and why she continues to be such a vital part of the district and our community. You see it in the way she interacts with our teachers and staff, or with the teachers and staff, I should say. Such a genuine warmth and concern for all. You feel it in her support for students, always advocating not for some, but for all, from the littlest to graduates. You see it in her love for the community, embracing every facet, all the successes and the struggles with such an inclusive spirit. And you obviously get and see so clearly her belief in terms of the true power of public education. These aren't just words, they're actions that I've witnessed over and over again. Terry embodies the concept of walking the walk, whether it be spending hours listening to concerned parents, attending student performances, community events, or advocating for resources. Terry was always present, always engaged. She has poured her heart and soul into making Greece better. As a vice president, through my time here, Terry was an invaluable partner, similar to what Jeremy was saying. And I would add a very good balance to Sean. I had to say it. She skillfully led committees, championed initiatives in the arts, CTE, battled to make sure that we were providing work study, and was a positive voice, such a positive voice for our LGBTQ plus students and staff. Happy Pride Month. Her commitment to community schools was foundational, and she was a key member that designed both of the strategic plans that we've gone through recently. Her dedication extended beyond our district borders, earning her the respect and recognition across the county. Her board service has truly been remarkable. But beyond all the accomplishments, and I could have gone on and shared so many other things, what I valued most about Terry was that I could trust her. As a superintendent, finding individuals you can rely on is crucial. Terry was always clear, consistent, fair, and balanced. While Terry's kindness is evident, some people may have called her too nice or kind. Please don't be fooled. She was far more than that. Her integrity and directness also define her. She isn't afraid to ask and have tough conversations, to offer honest feedback, and to hold people accountable in respectful ways. For a superintendent, a cabinet member, and ultimately anyone in our school district, that level of trust and advocacy and directness is necessary. Terry, I'm deeply grateful for the trust that you placed in me and for the environment of trust that you've helped cultivate in Greece. It allowed us to build the same foundation throughout the district. Thank you for your compassion, your inclusive nature and vision, your profound and lasting commitment to the Greece community. I know that you will continue to share your amazing gifts and talents as you leave the board and continue to work in Greece. So thank you so much.
If Terry's family would like to come up and do a picture. Stay there. We're going to bring everybody around and do a picture of the board. All right, next up. Over the last several years, every year the Board of Education, we created a Board of Education Award. And the Board of Education Award this year was easy. Sometimes the choice is hard. We've given it to the police departments, we've given it to the fire departments, we gave it to Greece Olympia several years ago, their staff. And this year, the choice was never really easier. It's going to be Terry Malor is going to receive the board award from the Greece Central Board of Education for the 24-25 school year. Again, there's been so many things that former Superintendent Groutman said, Superintendent Smalling said. Terry's impact and legacy in Greece Central is going to be long-standing, and the board recognized that. It was a unanimous choice to put you in as the board award winner, and there was no question in anyone's mind that you deserve it. So on behalf of the Greece Central Board of Education, I'd like to present Terry Malor with the Board of Education Recognition Award, June 2025. With great pride and gratitude, we want to thank you for all of your outstanding service, dedication, and commitment to serving the students, families, and the entire Greece community from 2013 to 2025. Congratulations, Terry. All right, moving on. President Eberts, you're up.
Seem to always find myself in this situation following impossible acts, so. Thank you, everybody. Brian Eberts, President of GTA, the Greece Teachers Association, for those I haven't met. Just going to speak a little bit about somewhat of a summation of the year. It was recently Teacher Appreciation Week, and it was heartening to see so many positive messages of support for educators across our district. The challenges and stresses in the world of education, especially in the post-pandemic era, can be difficult to fully grasp unless you're in it all the time every day. That's why it meant so much to see our teachers and members recognized and appreciated. Thank you to our colleagues in the district and to our entire community for standing with us. We're also excited to announce that the recipients of this year's GTA scholarships will be revealed soon. While they are not yet public, we invite you to visit our GTA website in the coming weeks to learn more. These scholarships are designed to support graduating seniors pursuing careers in education. To date, we've proudly invested over $250,000 to help inspire the next generation of educators right here in Greece. Through our Grow Our Own initiative and the Educator Pathways program in partnership with the Greece Central School District, we are committed to building a strong, sustainable pipeline of local students becoming future educators in our schools. And by the way, congratulations to all tenure recipients tonight, and please be aware that one of them received a GTA scholarship and is now an integral member of the Greece team and a former student in my 4th grade class. It wasn't because of me. Looking back at the month of May, we were proud to see strong support for our school budget. A successful community begins with a strong educational system. A successful community begins with a strong educational system, which I just said, and that success is only possible through collaboration, commitment, and shared values. We're grateful for the continued partnership between our union and the district, and we're optimistic about the years ahead. This is really large print, and I'm still making mistakes. Yes, really. Additionally, thanks to Greece leadership, the Board of Education, and the greater Greece community for all the support of our students, staff, and community. We are committed to working with you all to continue positive work towards improving academics, safety, and student and family support. Finally, as we wrap up the school year, we want to extend our heartfelt thanks to all of the Greece retirees. Your years of service, dedication, and unwavering support for our students, staff, and community have left a lasting legacy. We wish you all the best in this next chapter. You will always be part of the Greece education family. Thanks and have a great night.
Thank you, President Eberts. Dr. Henley, representing GASA.
Thank you, and happy June. It's finally June out. Buildings across the district this month are very busy with year-end testing, concerts, galas, moving up ceremonies, field days, new student orientations, graduations, and someone has to grade all those finals. I thought it would be appropriate to wrap up this year with a few thank yous as well. Thank you to the Board of Education for your tireless support of our schools. We could not do this work without you. Thank you to Superintendent Smallene and his cabinet for their guidance and foresight. The future of our district is bright. Thank you to Megan, Terry, and Silas for all of your work on the board, your leadership. It has been inspiring, and we wish you all the best in the future. To the admins, teachers, support staff, bus drivers, facilities and operations, we all worked as a team to give the best possible experience to our students. And finally, in the coming weeks, many of you will be standing on stages with approximately 900 of Greece's most recent graduates. I want you to reflect on this one thing as you shake those hands and see those smiles. We have chosen the best industry in the world. We provide memories, hope, love, and lifelong lessons to our students. And when they stand in the mirror with those gowns and think back to their experiences over their school careers, they will forever remember the faces that made it all possible. I leave you with a quote from my favorite guitarist ever, B.B. King. The beautiful thing about learning is that no one can ever take it away from you. Have a restful and relaxing summer.
Thank you, Dr. Henley. I couldn't convince Joe Sweats to speak tonight, so we'll pass on Gus. And next up is Karen Costera. Welcome this evening, Karen, from Teamsters.
Thank you. Good evening. For those who don't know me, I'm Karen Costera, business agent for Teamsters Local 118. I represent the members in facility ops, including buildings and grounds, custodians, maintenance mechanics, garage mechanics, central office secretaries, food service, and transportation. I wanted to say thank you as the school year comes to a close to the board, Superintendent Smalline, and the cabinet for the dedication, support, and efforts to make Greece Central the great district that it is. Whether it's behind the scenes, in the classroom, or in the community, you make a difference. I want to also wish best wishes to Terry and Megan and Silas. Thank you for your time and commitment to the district and to the board. I also want to mention that please keep those families in your thoughts and prayers who have recently passed, especially, the Gleason family, and prayers to Bill for a speedy recovery. Thank you. Have a great summer.
Thanks, Karen. All right, next up we have our Residents Forum. I have 3 speakers signed up this evening for Residents Forum. And my first speaker this evening is Casey Bolson. Casey?
Switch that for Brendan first and Casey second.
I mean, is Casey here?
She is, but
Okay, then why can't she talk?
she's going to continue something I was going to say for clarification.
All right, I'll allow it. So Brendan, you're up.
Good evening, board members, President, Superintendent. My name is Brendan Bolson, Greece Athena Class of 99 and former Greece Central School District print shop darkroom technician during the Raymond Page Superintendent era. I appreciate that everybody's here ready for summer. Unfortunately, I have something a little worse to cover. As many of you may know, DEC has released their contamination results from behind the property along Island Cottage that's adjacent to Greece Arcadia High School and Middle School. Right now, supposedly, Greece is working with the DEC on this. I would highly, highly suggest that the school board be in contact with the DEC directly as well. Aside from the DEC's plans that show the contamination along here and the number of 110 over here is pretty urgent. We did our own independent study out in the woods out there, and it's more inland than theirs. People will tell you that since we found 2 micrograms per liter, that's not much. The important thing to take back out of that information is that this was in surface water. It's nearly impossible for TCE to be in surface water and collected. If you go back there and look at the source of it, it looks like a hose spigot that has not been turned off. It's flowing constantly. That means there is a large pocket under the ground behind the dead wooded area that I can leave this with you guys. The most important part about this right now is that Site 6 is what we call it. This is, out of all our tests, Site 6 is what came up positive. The currently, and luckily it's summer, the Greece Arcadia track team runs through there. They run directly over that spigot. Everything that they are running through is the contamination. So I know you guys are probably going to wait for Greece or DEC to do their own testing to be to the point of where you decide what your next steps are. But I would highly, highly suggest when school opens up this next season, Our neighborhood always has the track team come through there. Suggest that they come over to our street. We'll look out for them. Don't let them run through that contamination, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll leave the map up here for you.
Casey? Okay. All right, and next up I have Ryan Murphy. Did I see Ryan in here? Yep, there he is.
Good evening, board members, Mr. Superintendent, Mr. McCabe. Just follow up a little bit with what Brendan was saying. I'm sure you're all aware, I've been emailing you updates on everything. You guys have the live file that's everything that we have. It is updated immediately. Brendan suggested ensuring, and I told you this a month ago, ensuring that the track team doesn't run through that, especially a little bit further south where they do run down by the apartments. It's, borderline lethal amounts of chemicals down there. So that absolutely has to be addressed. I would also suggest to you that sooner or later, full-scale testing is going to be done by either, whether it's the DEC, whether it's the town, whether, given how the town of Greece operates, it's probably going to fall back on the residents to do it. But you guys don't want to be stuck in a situation where, oh wait, it's September and we just found out that 30 feet from our property there was dangerous amounts of toxic chemicals found. I'd be more than willing to help get you the companies to do that, get you the contact information of the DEC companies, DEC themselves that we've been talking to. But, this is obviously, Mr. Superintendent, Mr. McCabe, it's your call. You guys are the ones that make the ultimate decisions, provide the board with recommendations, then you vote. Being proactive is going to be a much better move than being reactive and being stuck in a situation where you have to figure out what to do with 1,000 kids. The main goal is keeping the neighborhood and the residents, the children, safe. That's your job, is to make sure all the kids that come to this school, spend time on this property, that are going to be here over the summer back there in those fields in summer camps are safe. And ignoring the issue, that's being negligent.
Just as an informational point, our legal team is looking into this. They're taking appropriate steps, reaching out to potential testing agents to look into and see what the next steps for Greece Central should be. I take offense to the fact that you say we're being negligent because you have no idea what we've done to this point. So it's my time to talk. You had your turn, Ryan. So I take offense to the fact that you say the board or the Greece Central School District is being negligent, because we have taken steps, it's being looked at, and the board will determine the proper course of action once we get the information from our team. All right, moving on to staffing, 2.01. Can I ask you to move staffing to the table, please? Moved by Mr. Stencil. Seconded by Mr. Bonagorio. Any comments, questions, or concerns on staffing? Seeing none, all those in favor? That passes 8-0. Assistant Superintendent Larson, it's your time to shine.
Thank you so much. So I'm very excited to introduce 4 new administrators this evening. We will start off with Assistant Principal at Olympia, Miss Alexis Hamilton. Alexis began her educational journey at SUNY Empire State College, earning an associate's degree in childhood development. She furthered her studies by obtaining a bachelor's degree in psychology and a master's of Science and Education in School Counseling from St. Bonaventure University. Committed to educational leadership, she completed a Certificate of Advanced Study in Educational Administration with a focus on school building and school district leadership at SUNY Rockport. With a rich background as a school counselor and SEL coach, Alexis finds immense fulfillment in witnessing students apply the skills she teaches to overcome barriers and navigate their own challenges and successes. She enjoys collaborating with educators to integrate social-emotional learning and restorative practices into classrooms, providing professional development and modeling effective strategies that support students' social and emotional growth, contributing to their overall academic success. Looking ahead, Alexis is dedicated to supporting students in reaching their full potential and collaborating with a dedicated team in Greece Central. Outside of her professional life, she serves as a dance coach, instilling discipline and teamwork in her dancers while engaging with the community. Alexis cherishes the culture of majorette dancing and enjoys mentoring children. In her personal life, Alexis treasures quality time with her 4 children, making lasting memories through family vacations. One of her favorite quotes is, quote, "Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world." Nelson Mandela. Congratulations, Alexis, and welcome to Greece.
Alexis, I'm going to make you come back up here. You clearly have not watched the Greece Central Board meeting. That should be part of the interview process from now on. Do you have any family here that you would like to have a picture taken with?
Yes, so I'm already present.
All right, come on down, and we're going to do a family picture. Then we're going to have the Olympia family come and do a picture with you, and the superintendent, the deputy superintendent, and assistant superintendent Zaffetz. All right, one more. So for the other 3, remember this. This could be your first test.
All right, am I good?
Congratulations.
All right, next up, our new assistant principal, Olympia, Ms. Joellen Mineta. Joellen brings over 20 years of experience as an educator in the Rochester City School District. She began her teaching journey at East High School, working with 7th grade social studies students and AVID classes before transitioning to the School of the Arts, where she taught participation in government and 11th grade U.S. history. Throughout her career, Joellen has served as an instructional coach, department liaison, curriculum writer, and building leader intern. She is passionate about fostering student-centered instruction, building inclusive school communities, and leading initiatives focused on equity and family involvement. She was instrumental in introducing the Seal of Civic Readiness at SOTA, reflecting her commitment to providing students with meaningful opportunities for civic engagement. Joellen earned her BS in adolescent education from SUNY Oswego, followed by an MS in international studies from St. John Fisher University and a Certificate of Advanced Study in Educational Administration from SUNY Oswego. Outside of work, Joellen enjoys watching her children, Jolie and Julian, participating in various activities, including soccer, football, and school performances. Her favorite family tradition is an Italian Sunday dinner with her children and extended family cheering on their Buffalo Bills. Joellen would like to extend her heartfelt gratitude to the Greece Central School District for the opportunity to serve at Olympia. She looks forward to building strong connections, supporting staff, and partnering with families to ensure every student thrives. Congratulations and welcome to Greece.
Do you
next up, our new assistant principal, Olympia, Miss Desiree Pernicelsi. Desiree earned her bachelor's degree in English literature from SUNY Brockport, where she became duly certified in Brockport's education program, enabling her to teach English language arts and special education at the secondary level. She obtained her master's in literacy from Canisius University and is currently pursuing her educational leadership certificate. Desiree was a student in Greece Central School District, attending Westridge Elementary and Apollo Middle School, and a proud graduate of Greece Olympia. She has lived in Greece and is the mother of her only son, Leo, a Patty Hill Bulldog, a future Patty Hill Bulldog. Desiree joined Greece Central in 2010 as a long-term substitute and progressed to a probationary position as an English teacher, spending 11 years teaching all secondary grades. She now serves as a teacher on special assignment, exploring the structural and organizational aspects of education while stepping into leadership roles. Desiree's favorite part of her job is witnessing the growth of diverse students and their unique energy. She looks forward to continuing this journey as the assistant principal at Olympia. In her free time, Desiree is an avid shopper. You can often find her at Marshall's and reading. Most importantly, she cherishes her role as a mom to Leo, who inspires her to embrace joy in everyday life. Desiree is grateful for the unwavering support from her wife Liz, her 4 siblings, and her parents, who exemplify the values of strong character and hard work. She acknowledges her mother for providing essential care for Leo, enabling her to fulfill her professional responsibilities. Desiree is committed to empowering future leaders and is honored to serve as the assistant principal at Olympia. Congratulations, Des. All right, and last but certainly not least, assistant principal at Olympia, Ms. Karen Pryor. Karen brings over 2 decades of service to the Greece Central School District to her new role as Olympia assistant principal. She began her career at Arcadia Middle School in 2002 as an 8th grade science teacher and living environment teacher, a position she held for 18 years. For the past 4 years, she has served as a teacher on special assignment, focusing on Tier 1 instruction and supporting the AVID program. Her academic background includes a Bachelor of Science degree from SUNY Geneseo, a master's degree in education from St. John Fisher University, and certifications in school building and school district leadership from the University of Rochester. Passionate about student achievement and educator growth, Karen is most inspired by helping students become the best version of themselves, setting high expectations and ensuring they have the support needed to reach them. In her new leadership role, she is excited to build strong relationships with students, staff, and families, foster an inclusive and positive school culture, and support teachers in their professional growth. She looks forward to making a meaningful impact both in the daily life of the school and its long-term success. Outside of work, Karen is married with 3 children, Eli, Leah, and Cal, and spends most of her free time coaching them in basketball and soccer and cheering at their games and competitions. Congratulations again, Karen.
not supposed to go shortest to tallest. Okay, can I have somebody move the tenure appointments to the table, please? Moved by Mr. Stetzel, second by Mr. Butler. Any comments, questions, concerns on the tenure appointments before you? Seeing none, all those in favor? That passes 8-0. Now I'm going to go a little bit out of order, and I have two years of service awards I'd like to present to two of the board's employees. The first one is to Lorraine Manhart for her 10 years of dedicated service to the Greece Central School District. Congratulations. And now, for our only other employee, the Superintendent of Schools, Jeremy. Did I wake you from your nap, or? I want to congratulate you on your 20 years of service with the Greece Central School District, so congratulations. And then next up, Superintendent Smalley, Community Schools Update.
I'd like to invite Kelly Sperduto, and that's it, right? And all right, and Kelly Flagler to come. Okay, both Kellys to come up. I might steal some of your thunder, but I think it's important. One of the reasons we wanted to showcase our community schools update right now is not only to share the wonderful work that's taking place across our district and across our whole county, really, but I think it's important for the message to get out to our public that community schools, what it does is, yes, it helps support the needs of our students, but without community schools, what people need to understand is, as building principals and as teachers, we looked for support before there was community schools. We knew that these needs existed, and those needs fell on us as classroom teachers, as assistant principals, as directors throughout the district. And what this does is it takes that work, and now we have a team of people that can actually go and look for that support for our students in our community, and allows then the teachers to actually focus on the instruction in the classroom. So community schools does so much, but it also does so much for us instructionally in the classroom. And I think that's an important message for people to understand. So go ahead.
Thank you. I truly appreciate that, because that's really the sentiment that we're hoping to frame this presentation with, because we know, and we've seen this slide before, we have fewer students than in previous years, but the needs of our populations have steadily and continuously increased. So more students require specialized services, academic interventions, and social and emotional supports than ever before. And understanding these shifts is really critical to ensure that our resources align with the evolving needs of our students and community as they currently exist. We begin here as a reminder to frame the why for community schools, why the strategy is a critical component to the fabric of our work every day. It's often been described as the connective tissue, ensuring that students and families have access to resources that meet their basic needs, so that our children can walk into the classroom ready to learn, and so that our teachers can do what they do best, which is teach. So community schools is truly about connection, and as Superintendent Smalling has mentioned, the strategy is rapidly expanding. There are over 900 community schools in New York State. Over half are outside of New York City, including many here in Monroe County. To put this into perspective, only 5 years ago, the Rochester City School District and the Greece Central School District were the only two districts that had community schools in Monroe County. We now have 9 and are counting, continuously counting. In Greece, we continue to grow as well, as you're aware. So currently 13 of our 18 schools are officially community schools, although every single one of our 18 campuses benefits from the strategy in terms of resources and staffing and access to basic needs, essentially. Next year, both Pine Brook and Patty Hill will be joining the community schools family. And recently, Kelly Sperduto, Shelby Levitro, and I had the pleasure of joining the Pine Brook staff to share the good news, which was received with a round of applause because our staff know that the community schools strategy allows students and families to get what they need so that teachers can teach and students can learn. So who are we? We have many of our community schools team members here this evening. The community schools team consists of 13 site coordinators, in addition to parent coordinators at each campus. We have strategically added 1 to 2 new community schools each year, and outside of Greece Central, the team holds coveted leadership positions on the New York State or the Community Schools Coalition of Monroe County at the county level, the New York State Thruway Coalition, and the New York State Community Schools Steering Committee. And last week, we also had the pleasure of bringing the community schools team from Arcadia High School, Middle School, and Buckman Heights to the national conference, including one particularly impressive student board of education member, Mr. Silas Alvarez, who presented on behalf of the Institute of Educational Leadership. And while we're on the topic of Silas, I would be remiss not to mention that both him and his mother, Miss Luva Alvarez, were recently awarded the New York State Community Schools Network of Excellence in Powerful Student and Family Engagement Award. So let's take a moment and please join me in a round of applause. At this time, I'd like to ask Kelly to share and highlight some of the work her and her team have taken off this year.
So if you know me, you know this wheel well, because it's the mantra of everything we do. When we were at the national conference, we joked we should get tattoos of it on our arms so no one forgets. But really, at the heart of community schools is that all students are flourishing and thriving school communities, and we do that through the 6 key practices that you'll see outlined throughout our presentation. But really, it's been the supportive infrastructure we've created as a district with board policy, including this in our strategic framework and our district comprehensive improvement plan that has really made our community schools strategy successful. Okay, so research has showed us over and over again that kids who are engaged in expanded and enriched learning opportunities outside of the school day have better academic outcomes, are more engaged in school, and do better overall. This year, we have 164 unique community schools elementary clubs. That's up from 109 last school year. And we had more than 2,300 kids participate in an after-school club. So those could be things run by teachers, teaching assistants, community partners. A few of those are highlighted on the slide, including Girls on the Run, rock band, sports, play before the day, baking clubs, anything you can think of that kids are excited about and adults are excited about has turned into an after-school club. We also received a New York State LEAPS grant for 5 years to make sure that the Boys and Girls Club could have an after-school program at Arcadia Middle School. So this is for 6th grade students only, and research has shown that the transition from elementary to school to middle school is a challenging time for kids, and having them engaged in outside of school learning opportunities is helpful. So our Boys and Girls Club staff, along with many of our community schools team members, staff this program outside of the school day, and if you haven't been there yet, you should definitely go after school one day. It is the most fun ever, and you will definitely engage in some of the activities. This summer, we're starting our 4th year of summer fun camps. So when we did our community schools needs survey several years ago, families said that free and low-cost activities for their kids in Greece didn't exist at the scale they needed them. And so we have been providing free summer fun camps for our elementary kiddos. This year, we have 3 different themes: exploring the natural world, let's get messy and around the world. We also added middle school camps because we found that kids in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade didn't have many things to do in the summer besides play on their phones. And so this got them out of the house and doing fun activities. And then this summer, we also added a new pre-K and K stories, crafts, and play, so parents and kiddos can drop in at the ELC, get to know the school, and have a softer transition into school, as well as the Boys and Girls Club will be offering in our middle school program as well. As you know, student and family engagement is really central to community schools, and so we have worked very hard to make district-wide events. We have been doing our Fall Family Fest and Spring Family Fest with over 100 people participating each and every time. Last year, we had our second annual Back to School Bash. I told everyone that our kind assistant superintendents were running to Walmart and the store for me, trying to get supplies when we ran out of them within the first hour of the event. We had so many families there. It was really incredible to see everyone show up for the activities. And then we are doing a lot of building-based events too, where our community schools team is working with the instructional staff to find fun ways to support the academics outside of the school day. We're very strategic about naming our events something super fun, like a glow party, where you're actually learning sight words and vocabulary while you're scootering around with glow sticks in your hands. Kelly Flagler mentioned that we have parent coordinators in every building working part-time, really supporting the work of our community schools team. We also are lucky to have bilingual parent coordinators, and it has been incredible at all of our events to see how many families, when English is not their first language, are showing up to the events with the bilingual parent coordinators and getting toured around the event, hearing what's happening, and getting really engaged in school. Our parent coordinators are also hosting unique different parent exchanges through all of the buildings, whether it's during a school dance or what parents come to have pasta and paint with the principal and our staff, just finding ways to engage parents and hear their voice because we know how important that is. We also have opened up many of our committees, either at the district level or the school level, to include parents. We have more than 20 parents participating on district level committees, more than 20 on building level committees as well. And this year we had our second year of our Parent Advisory Leadership Council, where members of our district improvement team, safety and security, and college and career readiness have come and talked to the Parent Advisory Council so that they can learn more about what's happening in the district and inform others. And we're really excited to also have parents on our district community schools advisory committee, really helping us to support and scale the work across the district. Last year, Long Ridge was one of our few schools to have a student advisory team. They decided they were going to plan their end of the year celebration, and they got really engaged. They talked with finance, with risk management. They found out that you cannot plan a $10,000 event for the end of the school year, which was very disappointing. But they learned how to plan events like we do in our school district, and now we have a ton of student advisory committees. So you can see all the schools there: Buckman Heights, Craig Hill, the ELC. Our youngest kiddos, kindergartners and first graders, are a part of leadership clubs, learning really how to use their voice. They're doing fundraising, focus groups, planning events, like I said, and volunteering, and it's been incredible to see our kids really coming together and shining. Our Neighborhood Navigation Center, which is run by Kaylee Cure, has been an incredible support to our families. This is a grant-funded program that connects our families who are seeing housing instability or other needs, that gives them a place to go to get their needs met. They've had over 250 families come in. 155 of those families have joined their care team for long-term support, and we have a variety of different initiatives with ESL Charitable Foundation, the Greece Rotary, Open Door Mission, and others to support our families. And one of the programs, our Community Cares Initiative, we just shared that 94% of the families who joined that initiative have stabilized their housing, which means their kids can stay in their school and continue to focus on their academics and not miss any classes due to the housing situation in their household. We also know that since COVID, that the mental health needs and social emotional learning needs of our kids have grown and become more evident. And as a parent, I know that if I have to pick my kiddo up from school at noon, go to the doctor, try to get them back to school and get to work, it's at least a half a day to get to an appointment. So we've been working very carefully to co-locate some of these services within our schools. Families are still part of their child's care team, but instead of having to drive all over town for appointments, they can do them at the school site. And if families are interested, they can also collaborate with the school staff. So the strategies kids are learning outside of the school day, they can use in school as well. And we just finished our last mental health first aid training, where 14 parents from across the district were trained in mental health first aid. We've talked about this before, but creating a culture of safety, belonging, and care is really important for our students. Having caring adults in their lives who show up matters, and so we have a variety of different mentoring programs for our students. Primary project is for our youngest kiddos, kindergarten through second grade, who might have some mild school adjustment difficulties. So the kiddo who's holding on to mom's leg and doesn't want to leave for the first 2 weeks of kindergarten, or the kiddo who's too shy to speak out in class, will then get support from another adult to build those skills and be ready to learn. We have Generation 2 mentoring that gives weekly mentoring to kindergarten students at Autumn Lane and the ELC. So every week they get 30 minutes of undivided attention with an adult. And then we have our high school students mentoring our elementary school students between Odyssey and Long Ridge, Olympia and Long Ridge, and then Arcadia High School and Lakeshore. And then we are very happy with our Bob Johnson mentoring program, where kids are actually going to Bob Johnson, learning skills. It's not just about car sales, it's about the accounting end of it, it's the mechanic, it's every single part of the business, learning about that, and the kids are getting jobs and getting paid over the summer and really building their skill sets. Okay, and we also have district-wide supports for families. We know that with prices going up and inflation, a lot of people aren't able to meet their basic needs. And so our district pantry has seen over 1,000 families this school year to get groceries and things they need. And then our clothing closets are also seeing families as well. There's a flyer linked here telling you the hours, and our district pantry is open over the summer. I'll let Kelly speak a little.
So yeah, I think it's fair to say the community schools team has been a little busy this year. You also know in Greece that we love wildly important goals, and I want to bring us back to the intention of the community schools strategy, which is to improve learning outcomes for students. The community schools site coordinators all year have received ongoing professional learning designed to bridge explicit connections between their work and supporting increasing student achievement. This school year, community site coordinators at the elementary level have implemented WIGs using the 4DX model intended to improve learning outcomes. And at the secondary level, there's been WIGs that have been developed to support DSIP Goal 3 around improving student behavior, in addition to expanding access to college and career readiness. So as we continue on this path of coherence, we're also excited to share that for the first time ever, community site coordinators will now be at the table with school improvement teams this July at Summer Leadership Academy. This way we can ensure that the community school WIGs and lead measures for the 25-26 school year are in alignment with school-based improvement plans.
So as a district improvement team, we've been very careful about keeping track of our wildly important goals and making sure that we're meeting all the metrics throughout the year. So every month, we're checking in with our teams and seeing if they're meeting their lead and lag measures. And this chart shows you that as of May, every single one of our community schools site coordinators has completed at least one of their lead measures, if not more than one. And everyone is on track to finish all of their lead measures and meet their wildly important goals by the end of June. So this shows just some points of pride. The elementary community schools coordinators have been really strategic about using the key practices and figuring out ways to support the academics in their buildings. So they're sitting in on professional learning community meetings. They're meeting with their math and reading interventionists. They're talking with the principals every 2 weeks to figure out how they can really improve academics. And they're living and breathing their goals. So I'll go over some of these, and I'm worry that some people may shout out and tell me my numbers aren't updated enough because it was 2 weeks ago, and I've seen fresher numbers. So at Autumn Lane, 93% of students have completed a take-home math kit. So when you're a classroom teacher, the last thing you have time for is to create fancy, creative math kits to take home back and forth because you're worried about daytime instruction. So Amberly Buck has created interactive math kits that she brought into the classroom, has shown to kids, and almost 100% participation. At Buckman Heights, they have been participating in a math tutoring program after school where the math interventionist and Ricky work together to identify the kids who are Tier 2 and Tier 3 who need extra support. At Craig Hill, and I know this number is old too, 72% of the students have participated in math hallway challenges. So as they're walking down the hall, there's a question, they get a sticker, and they try to find the right answer and talk and dialogue about it with their peers and their classroom teacher. At the Early Learning Center, Amber has hosted and co-facilitated 4 Westy University events to increase family engagement and to ensure families are there. She has 3 different touch points with each family before the event. So they might get a phone call home, they might get a flyer in the car line, they might get something in the weekly newsletter. But so it's not a, oh, I didn't see that. We make sure we reach out to them 3 unique ways. At Holmes Road, they piloted literacy pilots in one classroom where the literacy volunteers, in the classrooms, and they came at least 10 times for an hour each to work with the kids, and they're planning to expand that next year. At Lakeshore, they had 2 out-of-school events specifically focused on reading and math. And at Long Ridge, they're partnering with the math interventionist to create take-home math activities over the school breaks, where Tier 2 and Tier 3 students specifically are targeted to complete those activities so that there's no learning loss over breaks. And then at our secondary schools, as we said, we've had a hyper-focus on behavior, but a lot of that is attendance, getting kids to class on time, in the room, ready to learn. And so they've done a great job looking for Tier 1, 2, and 3 interventions. And our district social worker just told me that Arcadia High School had the most stabilized attendance based on the Tier 1 supports that have been offered there. So every month there's a unique incentive, whether it's popcorn, hot cocoa, staff and student basketball game, just finding ways for kids to get excited about being in school. At Odyssey, they're doing monthly engagement events to involve all the kids in focus groups to see what the kids really want. At Olympia, they have the Spartan Square, where kids are now going in and volunteering during their free classes and earning work-study hours, and many of those students are now working for us this summer. And Arcadia Middle School is also doing incentives for attendance. So, moving on to next year, as Kelly Flagler said, our site coordinators will be at the full week-long summer leadership so that they're involved in the decision-making around the school improvement plan goals and how they can support them. Again, every elementary community schools coordinator will have a wildly important goal around academics. The secondary site coordinators will have a goal focused on attendance. In October, look out for our updated needs and assets surveys for families, staff, and students so we can really hear from everyone and get stakeholder input about what they need and want. And our third back-to-school bash is August 25th. We have outgrown all of our elementary sites, so we're holding it at Olympia this time. Thank you.
Mr. Stencil.
This is going to be more of a comment than a question. Thank you, Mr. President. First off, I just want to congratulate the both of you, your entire team. This is nothing short of a miracle what you guys have pulled off. I remember being with you at the meeting that I first attended about 2 years ago, and just to see the progress of what you guys have built with all the partners, all the stakeholders, and your team is nothing short of, just like I said, a miracle. It's really impressive. So you get my praise and my kudos. I did not know that you were incorporating mental health first aid. I think that's amazing. I would love to see more of that, not only between the staff, parents, even towards students. And for those on the board who don't know, when you're trained in mental health first aid, you're not diagnosing people. You're just trained to understand and see the signs and symptoms so that you can then have a conversation and refer the person to the service that they may or may not need. So it's like an equivalent to needing CPR essentially for a heart attack or whatnot, but for a mental health crisis. So I love that you're doing that. I think that's amazing. Another thing, and I'll tie Mark Fleming into this, we just went over the DSIP, the third part there related to behavior and whatnot. Like my brain was just lighting up when they were talking about it and connecting the dots. I think this is awesome, how community school strategy can merge perfectly with the DSIP and really interact to better students' lives. I think it's great. Because I'm putting on my social work hat and I'm thinking like, you need to not only meet people where they're at for those who need it, but you also need to give a leg up for those in need, not a handout. And I think that's what you guys are doing, and I love it. So I'll just close with this. I'm really excited to see what you do next. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Lake.
I reiterate what Jordan said. In fact, I hit him and said, I hope you're impressed.
She did.
But I'm on the advisory committee, and the last meeting we had, I think I should get a stipend for it because, no, I am serious. We worked so hard in 2 hours, I needed a nap when we finished. But I don't know, I mean, she's like a drill sergeant, but, I mean, we had these buckets and these ideals, and at the end, we narrowed them down to like 4 or 5 things, and it was just like, my head was spinning, but I'm old, so, but thanks.
Mr. Butler.
Thanks for the report. You guys know what a big fan I am of the community school strategy. I had one really specific question. You talked about the Neighborhood Navigation Center, which I think is such a cool resource, and you mentioned that it's grant funded. Is that local foundation money? You mentioned ESL Charitable Foundation. Is that who funds it, or?
So it's really blending and braiding of several different grants. So we have funds through Open Door Mission, the Rotary, ESL Charitable Foundation. Together Now did some of the initial funding, and then the BOCES COSER supports it as well.
Great, thank you.
Vice President Farmer.
So I just wanted to follow up on the Navigation Center. It stabilizes kids, it stabilizes families, it stabilizes schools and our community when we can keep kids in schools without having to go from here to there to everywhere. Maybe a couple years ago, I was on that neighborhood site and I saw a mother who had posted needing housing. And I took a screenshot and I sent it to Kelly, and she goes, well, and we had no idea who this person was. She goes, I don't know, and I'll try, but as Mary was saying, she found these people. She found this family, and she got them housing, and they were stabilized. So I can't say enough for the Navigation Center, the two of you working together, I would imagine. So it is excellent that we have that in Greece and keep our schools and our kids and our families stable. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, thank you. Just a update on Board Member Maloney. He is out of surgery and doing well. All right, moving on to 4.02, security screening update. Superintendent Smalley.
I'm going to ask Deputy Superintendent Mark Fleming to come up, and as he travels to the microphone, I have to publicly acknowledge the work that Mark has put into the implementation of these systems. And when I say the implementation, I'm not just talking about setting them up and making sure the structures are in place. I'm talking about the time that he's taken to work with the staff, our security team, to develop family nights for families to come in to each of the schools and have the opportunity to stand up in front of everybody and take on questions so that people could have a full understanding of what this system does and what it doesn't do. He has single-handedly led this charge among everything else that I ask him to do. I couldn't be more proud, Mark, of the work that you've done with this to make sure it was implemented the right way and people had a full understanding of it so that it could be successful, which we're seeing right now. So I personally want to thank you for your work with this.
Thank you, Superintendent Smalling, for those generous comments. I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge the support of the board, the cabinet, the security team, Casey Vocal and his team, Eric Hughes is here tonight, and the staffs at the school, and that's not just our GTA members, but all of our units. It has been a team effort, so thank you for those comments, and thank you to everyone who's helped with this effort. Good evening, everyone. I just want to give you an update with regards to our safety screening system and let you know where we stand with the implementation of that system at this point. As you all know, our number one priority in this district is safety. We do take a multi-layered approach within this district to ensure that all students, staff, and family members are safe on all of our campuses. I'm not going to go through all of the bullet points that you see here, but as I said, it's a multi-layered approach from personnel, systems, structures, the supports that we wrap around students. We use a multi-layered approach to ensure everyone's safety. And as part of that multi-layered approach, we have now implemented a safety screening system. This is not a traditional metal detector. Instead, it uses advanced technology to identify prohibited items such as firearms, knives, explosives. And we're really not unique here in the county to the use of these systems. We see them implemented in our airports, of course, but also in healthcare facilities, in government buildings, in stadiums, all across our county. Even amusement parks as well have started to utilize these systems right here in Monroe County. We are partnering with two different companies who work together. That's MIS Security and Linev Systems. So we didn't bring these two companies together. They have a history of working together to provide a comprehensive safety screening system. So let's start with MIS Security. They are the manufacturers of the Ronin system. A little difficult to make out in this picture here, but to the right there, you can see two towers or bollards with green lights on them. These are battery-powered bollards, very light and easy to move, and students pass through this system. I'll give you a more detailed description in some later slides, but essentially, they can be calibrated to a setting which will help indicate whether or not contraband is being brought into our buildings. Linev creates and manufactures the bag scanner. You can see a picture of that on the right. This uses a combination of X-ray imaging and artificial intelligence. As you can see here, the screen shows an X-ray image of the contents of a bag as that bag goes through the bag scanner. This is an image provided by the company, and it's a little hard to see on the screen here, but the artificial intelligence highlights any contraband that could be in that bag. So in the example here provided by the company, you can see a red box that's put around a firearm, around a knife, and the AI tells the operator the percent likelihood that that is in fact a dangerous item. This slide here is an image, or two images from our own tests. So as you can see, they're exactly what the company provided to us. I want to be clear, these are not bags or musical instruments from our own students. These are items that we created and put them through, so we're not showing the contents of any of our students' possessions. In the image on the left, you can see a backpack, the oversized Stanley, of course, which is ubiquitous amongst teenagers today. In the lower left-hand corner, there's another little object there. That's our yonder pouch with a phone that's inside of it. I'll talk more about the cell phone policy later in the presentation. On the right-hand side, you can see a violin case, and my finger there is pointing out a small little boxed item, and that is a vape. So in this particular instance, the AI did not put a box around the vape. That's because there's lots of different kinds of vapes, and the algorithm is still learning. So the company has let us know that as they continue to develop their software, the AI will get stronger and be able to identify different kinds of vapes. But I wanted to highlight this because it does stress the importance of the human operator in being able to identify contraband, and you can clearly see that an item like this is going to appear as it goes through the bag scanner. So again, the bag scanner and the Ronin are paired together. Here you can see in this image on the far right-hand side where the table is, just behind that is the bag scanner. On the left-hand portion of the picture, you can see the two bollards. This is at Arcadia Middle. So let me talk to you a little bit about the floor plan at Arcadia and how the flow has worked so far. So this has been implemented at Arcadia Middle and Arcadia High. What you're looking at right here is the floor plan for Arcadia Middle. Students for both the high school and the middle school enter through this particular entrance. So they begin in the upper left-hand corner where that yellow dot is. They line up outside of the front doors. They then proceed in through that first set of front doors, through the vestibule, and then they split off as they enter the next set of doors in the vestibule to the two different lines that we have set up. You can see on the both the left and the right, we have the red rectangles. That's the Linev scanner. When the student arrives at that scanner, they place their bag on the scanner. They also place their yonder pouch, which has the phone inside of it, locked on the scanner as well. Everything that they have, their keys, their Chromebook, bulky metal items, goes into the book bag. So everything into the bag except for that locked yonder pouch with the phone inside it, that goes in separately through the bag scanner. The student then proceeds through the Ronin, which if they have nothing on them, they're going to pass through really, really quickly. They then go to the other end of the bag scanner, they pick up their bag, and proceed on to class. If the Ronin goes off, or if there's something of concern in one of the bags, the students then go to one of the secondary screening rooms. For the lane on the left, there's a classroom immediately to the student's right that they would duck into for a secondary screening. For the lane on the right, straight ahead into the main office, we have a secondary screening room there for the students to be screened, again, if there's an item of concern. So we began this implementation a couple of weeks ago, first at Arcadia Middle and Arcadia High School. They had been using a different system for well over a year. That particular system was not giving us the results that we desired. Arcadia was a good place to then start the Ronin and the Lenev. On May 19th, that Monday, we used the two different systems to kind of get the students used to the brand new one, and then we went full implementation starting on the 20th. With support from staff from MIS, from Lenev, and from the district. On May 23rd, that Friday, we had the outside consultants back off, and the Arcadia team had support from the district. And then that following Tuesday, the day after Memorial Day, the team did the full implementation. And when I say the team, that is the Arcadia staff. So no support from the district. They are now running this on their own. Of course, you may remember from the rollout of our earlier system at Arcadia, we had some long lines, some parents, I think, that were frustrated with how long it took students to get into school. We, of course, our primary goal is to have students in all classes on time. This chart here shows that we've been able to speed up the process pretty rapidly. So that first arrival time on May 20th was about 7:38. We had all the students in, and you can see that we made progress. You can see a little bit of an uptick on the 27th when the school team was doing their own implementation. But by May 28th, we had all the students in by 7:20, 7:21. So they really picked up very quickly how to use the system, how to get into the building quickly and efficiently without compromising the tools that the system provides. We have found this to be exceedingly effective, and the feedback from staff and from students has been positive so far. We are detecting contraband with the use of this, lighters, vapes. Today, and I'll talk more about the rollout at the other schools, but today at Olympia, we found a pepper spray canister. So we are preventing contraband from getting into the building. We're also seeing students that are depositing items outside of the building because they don't want to be caught with it. And they're finding out that the system works. They're finding that out really rapidly. I think, as we all know, there is now a statewide distraction-free school mandate from Albany that students may not use cell phones in schools in New York State from the beginning of school until the end of school. We, of course, have had our own policy since the fall of 2022, and we are seeing increased compliance, a lot of compliance with that particular policy as a result of this system. It is now far easier to ensure that students are putting their phone and any other electronic device like a smartwatch or earbuds into that locked yonder pouch. To just give you an example, here you can see the number of phones that were confiscated at Arcadia Middle by the administrative staff because they did not have a yonder pouch. Principal Jones and his team confiscated 200 phones yesterday in their first rollout. I received a text from a very veteran teacher at Olympia last night, unsolicited, who said, "I have to tell you that today's one-day rollout at Olympia far increased the culture in this building with regards to cell phone use." He said, "I only had to confiscate one phone, and for the rest of the day, I did not see any students with earbuds, with phones." Principal Jones himself told me that when he walked into the cafeteria, he could hear kids talking to one another. And I can't believe I'm telling you that that's an oddity, but it is. And so already we're seeing really a marked improvement as a result of this system. So when it comes to implementation, Arcadia's in their third week. Olympia began yesterday. We only screened about 15% of kids. Today, we screened all of them. Full transparency, it took a while to get the kids into the building. They have not had a screening system at all at Olympia. So they went from 0 to 100 today. They started entering the building at 6:51. By 7:44, we had all the students in the building. So I am exceedingly confident that that number will drop pretty quickly as they become used to the system. In September, we will have a staggered rollout at Athena, at Odyssey, and at Phoenix. And that's the current update. Any questions?
Board Member Malor?
I also want to thank Mark. I had the opportunity to go to the parent meeting at Arcadia, and a large portion of the administrators from Arcadia were there as well. They were very happy to answer questions parents had, and the ridiculous things we see on social media, like causing cancer and things like that, we're easily distracted. And I'm so pleased that it is moving smoothly, and that that picture of the cell phones tells us that we needed to do the next step. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Malor.
Mr. Stetzel?
Thank you, Mr. President. I really wanted to echo what Terry just said, but also what Superintendent Smallene said. I was there with Mary last night at the presentation. I think you hit it off the, home run to you, the team, Principal Jones, and everybody that was there. I think it was a great, informative, and transparent presentation.
Thank you.
Which is exactly what we as board members would want to see. And I think the community members that were there were satisfied from what I saw, with the exception of one person, but that, people are going to agree to disagree. But I think you answered all the questions, the concern about the cancer thing. We had the people from Lenev and all of them there speaking about it and, addressing their concerns that there's no radioactivity that is emitted from those devices. So, just a big hats off to you and your team for your professionality and just, going out there and addressing it with the community, putting people's minds at ease related to this, because this can be scary. I can speak for my daughter. My daughter was terrified when she first heard this. I sat and watched the video with her. We talked about it a lot back and forth. I see in the presentation that there's mental health supports for kids who need it as they go through the process. And we, one of the things I campaigned on was safety. And let me just say, I think this may not solve every single problem, but it is another tool in the toolkit of safety that makes Greece even better. And I think over time, we'll get used to this process, and it'll just be another day. And so I appreciate the way you've rolled it out and tried to better Greece as a result.
Thank you, Mr. Stenzel. Thank you.
Mr. Bonagoro?
Thank you. I'm going to be a little bit of a broken record on that. So I was at the same meeting that Ms. Malor was at. It was a tough meeting. There were a lot of parents who were frustrated, had a lot of questions, concerns, and you did a wonderful job of addressing them. The staff there, Ms. Wozniak, you all put yourselves out there to address the questions. And when I left, you were still in conversation with people. So was she and others. I think I'll bring it back to Superintendent Smallene's Partners in Progress thing. I think it's set a tone for a kind of openness that I think is really appreciated. And that process, engaging with people in honest conversation when there are challenges, is helpful. So, yeah, thank you. Thank you for doing that.
Thank you, Mr. Bonagoro.
Thank you.
Great, thank you.
All right, moving on to 5.01, acceptance of the district responses to the internal audit report. So move that. Moved by Mr. Stenzel, seconded by Mr. Butler. Any comments, questions, or concerns on that? Ms. Lake?
I just appreciated the steps that were taken to remedy it so that it would not happen again. So that was good to see.
And I spoke to the chairperson of the audit committee today, and they said it came through the audit committee, and the audit committee fully supports this. Anything else? All right, seeing none, all is in favor. That passes 8-0. Moving on to the tax certiorari settlement refund. Can I, Sonny, move that to the table, please? Moved by Mr. Butler, seconded by Ms. Malor. Any comments, questions, concerns on this? Seeing none, all is in favor. That passes 8-0. Moving on to 5.03, fund balance transfer to the capital fund. Can I, Sonny, move that to the table, please? Moved by Mr. Butler, seconded by Mr. Stencil. Any comments, questions, concerns on this? Seeing none, all is in favor. That passes 8-0. Moving on to the consent agenda. Can I, Sony, move the consent agenda to the table, please? Moved by Ms. Lyke, seconded by Mr. Butler. Any comments, questions, concerns on the consent agenda? Seeing none, all is in favor. It passes 8-0. Moving on to 8.01, the Science Core Instructional Materials Update. Can I, Sony, move that to the table, please? Moved by Mr. Stencil, seconded by Mr. Butler. Any comments, questions, concerns on this? Mr. Bonagoro.
Just a quick comment and maybe a couple questions. One, I want to congratulate the team on putting all of the effort into it. There's having a consistent curriculum in place for all of our staff in the subject area is a really valuable thing. And I think that really will ultimately help us maintain standards and improve our outcomes. So that's all really appreciated. And I know that we've got that kind of work to do in other areas, in other disciplines as well. So I appreciate that, and I want to thank the team for that. I am wondering if we haven't had reports as we have had with literacy and math. We've had assessment updates periodically, and I'm wondering if we will be getting that as we roll out the new science curriculum.
Sure. So thank you for that question. There will be summative state assessments associated with both the earth and space science and the biology. We haven't seen those yet because it's the first time that we'll be really implementing this new instructional resource, and the exams will be coming. And those summative assessments, the state assessments, will have a greater level of understanding in terms of how the instructional resource is relative to the state standards. So it'll be our first implementation of it, so we'll have that data. And then in addition to that, with the PLC work that we're doing through the school improvement planning process, over time, teams in buildings and teachers throughout the district will be able to work together to create common formative assessments. That the development of that process will take time. So, and to broaden it a little bit, we also have the curriculum review process, and the district, many of you serve on those committees. It consists of school administrators, district administrators, teachers, parents, board members. It's really a shared stakeholder group that is charged with the oversight of the implementation of the pre-K through 12 standards. And that occurs all the time. It's a 6-year cycle process, and we are currently in we'll expect to have evaluation data in 3 years in terms of full implementation of this new instructional resource. And then there'll be a full year of program evaluation to determine the efficacy. It doesn't mean that it's going to be 4 years until we tinker with some of the work, because that work occurs during vertical teams and content area teachers through the PLC process that happens just on a smaller scale. So I don't know if that answers your question. Okay.
Yes, it does. Thank you. I
Yep.
appreciate that, and
Yep.
I appreciate all the work you've put into it.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Mr. Butler?
I noticed in the recommendation and approval form, there's like ratings that show how the reviewers rated the curriculum, and there was one that had, one of the different levels of review was that it includes resources for English as a new language and special education students, and that was, like, it was like chemistry. It was like my report card, it was when I got to chemistry, right? So everything else was 5s and 4s, and then we had a 3 on that one. And I just wondered if there are ways that we can compensate for that in our implementation of this, so that our ENL students and our special education students have the resources that they need.
Yeah, so as part of that process, and we actually have one of our teachers, not to put you on the spot, Mr. Esposito, he was on the team through the evaluation process. I asked him to join tonight. Those are things that, those are areas that the committee considers in terms of how the materials are able to be differentiated to meet the needs of diverse learners. And so that was part of the process. One of the things that the committee was really appealing about the New Visions resource was that the materials are not only 100% aligned with the new standards, but that they're also in editable format. So oftentimes we receive resources that are in PDF or other ways that they can't really be adapted. But this is an opportunity for teachers to be able to modify as they're implementing to meet the needs of their students on, whatever their needs are. So I don't know if, Mr. Esposito, if there's any other pieces that you would add to that in terms of meeting the needs of our diverse learning population?
I'm going to make you go up to him.
It's very fluid, and we're ready to dive into it and make it what we need for our Greek students. A lot of it has to do with the relationships that each individual teacher has with those kids and what their individual needs are. And there was nothing really in the curriculum that we liked that really said, oh, hey, there's a perfect little package for our students in Greece. And we stepped back as teachers and said it because we know what our kids need. And we know what our NL kids need and our special ed kids need, and we'll make it. And we'll make it and do it a great job. Is that kind of interesting?
Sure. Yeah, thank you.
Ms. Lake?
I really appreciated being able to go in and look at the materials, and I just planned to go in and kind of shuffle through them, and I am not very good at science, but I thought I could look at titles and feel like I'd done something. But to meet Todd and Audra there, who spent time talking about answering questions, that was great, and then a follow-up with you. So I feel that everything was done for us to be able to understand everything that you've done. And looking at the schedule, it's like, you did everything to ensure it's the best program available right now. So thanks.
I appreciate that. I'll be sure to share the feedback back with the team.
Anything else? Mr. Bonagario?
Mr. Butler's question reminded me of another aspect of it. So we have, this is in PDF format. When we give this to our students to use, is it given as a PDF on their Chromebooks, or do we make a printed out
It's an
version?
editable format for teachers. When students receive it, they'll be receiving a version that they're not going to be editing from what the teacher had created.
But is it only in digital format? That's the real question.
Oh, yeah, good question. So it is available online in digital format, and we are intending to print the instructional manuals for students through our print shop, which there's some cost details that are associated with that, and that was another added bonus that, because comparatively speaking to the other resources that were reviewed, this was fiscally extremely responsible.
Great. I'm glad that it's not just in a digital format, that they actually can have something to mark up, read,
They'll have hard copies.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. Thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? That passes 8-0. Moving on to the May 21st, 2024 absentee ballot disposal. Can I have somebody move that to the table, please? Moved by Mr. Stetzel, second by Ms. Lake. Any comments, questions, concerns on that? Seeing none, all those in favor? Oh, sorry.
Have a problem with them or challenge them in any way or anything?
No.
Okay.
Any other questions? All right, seeing none, all those in favor? That passes 8-0. Moving on to 10.02, amendment to the superintendent's employment agreement. Can I have somebody move that to the table, please? Moved by Ms. Malor, seconded by Mr. Butler. Any comments, questions, concerns on that? Seeing none, all those in favor? That passes 8-0. Moving on to superintendent comments. Superintendent Smalley.
Okay. I do have some words that I've written down, but before I get to that, I just wanted to extend my deepest condolences to the family of Jim Gleason during this incredible, difficult time. I also want to recognize the tremendous grief felt by his fellow transportation and bus garage teammates, the students and families that he faithfully served each day, and the many others throughout our district who had the privilege of knowing him. Our thoughts and prayers go out to the family and his friends. So as we come to a close of the 2024-25 school year, I want to take a moment to express my deep gratitude for the support, collaboration, and collective commitment that has defined this year. This was a year of transition, not just for me personally as I stepped into the role of superintendent, but for many of our cabinet and district office leaders as well. And with change often comes uncertainty, but thanks to the steady support of our Board of Education and the dedication of our incredible staff, this transition has been marked not by disruption, but I believe by momentum. And together we have taken important steps forward in the service of our students. So across our districts, we've seen the impact of intentional, collaborative work. The Guiding Coalition, with its focus on strengthening professional learning communities, has helped us lay a stronger foundation for instructional alignment and shared responsibility for student learning. We began full implementation of our new literacy program, grounded in the science of reading. That's work that required commitment, flexibility, and partnership from teachers and leaders alike. Our community schools strategy continues to grow, deepening our connections with families and meeting the needs of the whole child. We've expanded our shared decision-making structures at every school, ensuring that the voices of staff, students, and families are part of how we move forward. And across all departments, whether it's teaching and learning, student services, special education, transportation, finance, or human resources, our teams have continued to show what it means to lead with purpose and with heart. This year has reminded me that leadership is never a solo endeavor. It is about building trust, empowering others, and staying rooted in our shared mission, which is to ignite learning, expand opportunity, and cultivate trust. Thank you to the Board of Education for your vision and encouragement. Thank you to our staff for your professionalism, passion, and care. And thank you to our community for believing in what we can accomplish together. There is much more ahead, and I'm excited for what we will continue to build together in the years to come. Thank you all.
Thank you, Superintendent Smalley. Board Member Alvarez, you're up.
Okay, so I want to express my heartfelt gratitude and appreciation to both Ms. Terry Malor and Ms. Megan Farah for being phenomenal people who consistently have the best intentions for all students in our district. You both provided me with new perspectives that I can use for my own future, and for the many, many others, especially for young females in our district who look up to such amazing women. Though you both will be missed, knowing that you will both continue to be phenomenal people and role models for the young females in our district who aspire to be just like you is definitely heartwarming. And on behalf of the students in our districts, I would like to just say thank you for all that you have done, and know that that the next board or group of leaders will be lucky to have you both. Last month, May 23rd, the Superintendent's Advisory Council hosted our second annual Student Leadership Summit, and it was definitely a huge success. All students from all high schools, including Phoenix, were given the opportunity to give their feedbacks on our schools and and through various workshops, many students were able to express that they were glad to have this opportunity to voice their opinions. It felt very listened to rather than heard in conversations with district leaders and committees. So a special thank you to all the adults that definitely took the time to make this event very successful. This month is the month of June, so I want to just congratulate all the seniors who will be graduating in about, I think it's like 3 weeks. Many, or as some may know, according to news sites and the Western Interstate Commission of Higher Education, it is stated that across the country, this is the largest senior class of graduates with students. And I know that in Greece, the seniors are destined to go off and do amazing things that will positively impact our community, our nation, and our world. So congratulations on the completion of high school, and I hope that your future continues to shine bright. And lastly, well, second to lastly, I want to highlight some of the great things that has happened for the student body in Greece this year. Academically, there's been notable rise in students' dedication and positive work ethics across all levels, whether it's elementary, middle, and high school. Many students have been recognized for their achievements through honors like National Honor and National Junior Honor Society, Community Awards, Most Inspiring Student Awards, Olympia's Rise Award recipients, and much, much more. As a student, I definitely encourage our district to continue shifting its mindset from focusing on negative behaviors and strict discipline and towards celebrating the many positive students and the many positives that many students create every single day. This includes all the recognition in public conversations or even on social media where we're just expressing the positives that happen in our district. And while definitely solving problems and addressing behavior is necessary, I believe that starting with a positive mindset means a lot to students and it reminds all of us that we're human, whether we're young or old, and that growth often comes with mistakes. And that understanding definitely creates a place of hope, trust, and a stronger community. And then I want to just thank you guys all for amazing time. I definitely, although I step away from schoolwork or sleep, I definitely like Miss Terry Malor, definitely like coming to board meetings, which is surprising because I am a student. So I definitely do like being here, and even though today is probably my last meeting, I definitely had an amazing time with all of you. So thank you.
Thank you, Silas. Board member comments. Mr. Butler.
I want to add my condolences to the Gleason family for the sudden and tragic death of their family member, and to everybody in the transportation department who's certainly feeling that really acutely. I want to say congratulations to the students who are getting close to graduation. It's such an amazing and exciting time for them. Congratulations for the teachers and the staff, the support folks across the whole district, and it really reminds us that it takes a district to graduate a child, right? And so congratulations to everybody for making that happen. I want to say thank you to Ms. Farah for her service on the board and the willingness to stand up and commit to serving your community. I want to say thanks to Silas. To be the first of anything is quite a remarkable thing, and I'm pretty sure this isn't the last time you'll be the first at something. So congratulations on all the great success that's coming to you. And lastly, I want to recognize my good friend Terry Malor. Terry was my board mentor when I joined the board. She even talked to me about, I should say, joining the board before I joined it, and helped me really understand the role of a board member, and I really have appreciated that so much. Terry is somebody who's dedicated her life to education. As you may know, she was a career teacher in the district, and she's dedicated her life to education to students and to her adopted hometown of Greece. She is a relentless supporter of students and all that they do, and she sets a bar that's really difficult for anyone else to meet in that department. Once a teacher, always a teacher, and I think that means she's shown all of us how to be a leader around this table. It's been said that she is a very kind person with deep empathy, and it's true, but she also has a wicked sense of humor that I really enjoy. She's a theater person, a mom, a grandmother, and a friend, and I'm proud to call her that. So thank you, Terry, for your service.
Mr. Bongorio.
Thank you. Well, I want to say thank you to Silas for your service. And while you were talking, I was looking out at your mom and seeing the very proud look on her face, and for obvious reasons. So congratulations. Thank you for all you've done, and best wishes for all that's ahead of you. You're going to do great. I also want to say thank you to Terry, Ms. Malor. Thank you for all your years of service. You've accomplished a lot. Congratulations on all of that. I think, yeah, you've accomplished a lot. I think I will remember you most as this strong advocate for the arts, and especially here in Greece. You could count on Terry to be at every event and really cheerleading our students and staff who did so much in that regard. And I hope you'll stay involved. I'm sure I'll see you there, but I'm hoping I'll see you on stage at some point. So I know we've had that conversation. But thank you. I want to thank my friend Megan Farah. You have had a tireless commitment and passion for advocating for parents and families, and I really appreciate that, and for teachers and staff members, and especially for students. You've got 4 of them in the district, and you wear it on your sleeve. It's a badge of honor, and it's been a huge commitment for you. I appreciate it. Thank you. I hope you too will stay involved. You've had a positive impact. The work doesn't stop. But I do want to extend my congratulations to Jim, her husband. You get a lot of life back. So, congratulations. But thank you all for your service. I do also want to extend my congratulations to Anna Maria Falzerano and Monica Seaman as they will join the board next month. I look forward to working with them. And it's kind of neat and interesting that there have been some family connections, actually multiple family connections on this board with some of them. So it's kind of neat. It really is a small community. Again, sympathies to Mr. Gleason's family and our team in transportation. And congratulations to the senior class. I'm looking forward to the graduation ceremonies and moving up ceremonies as well. So, and happy summer after this to all.
Thank you, Mr. Bongorio. Mr. Stutzel.
Thank you, Mr. President. I first wanted to extend my heart and prayers for the Gleason family and to our transportation folks that knew them so well. It's really tough to go through something like that, and such a loss, just hits home. So hearts and prayers are out there. Just real quick, I wanted to give a shout out for Olympia again, because I got to attend last week. And Terry, you were with me. We got to do the honors ceremony, which was so cool for the high school and the middle school. So kudos to Olympia on that. I want to start with some congrats. I'm going to start with Silas. When I think of you, Silas, I think of a word comes to my mind, and it's courage. And I really, you may be like, why courage? When I was your age in high school, I didn't want to be seen. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I wanted to be left alone. I couldn't imagine being where you are now. And all I can think of is the bravery, the boldness, the courage, the aspirations you have to go out there in the world and do amazing things. And I know, this is just one of many experiences you are going to have when you leave here. And I'm really excited for you because I know I'm going to hear your name again, either on the radio or TV or wherever. You will be around in Greece, you will be around the community, and you will be doing amazing things. So whatever that torch is that you're holding on to, what I call courage, keep lighting that torch and keep moving forward, because it's serving you well, and it will serve you well even as you go forward. So thank you for your service and everything you do. Yeah. I'm going to shift gears now to Terry. So, Terry, you know, I don't know how I can top any of the things that have already been said, but I like to share personal stories. That's kind of how I resonate with people. And I want to say some of my first encounters with you was when I was speaking over there, which still terrifies me, but to this day. 3 minutes is just, yeah, it's a lot. But, you know, there was one night where you were running the meeting for Sean. He was out. And, you know, I had said something, I don't really remember what it was, but you stopped me and you said, hey, could you give me that information when you were done? It's those little touches like that that show that you really do care about the people in the community, even if you don't agree with their point of view, which I really respect and admire. Additionally, when I had set up my town halls and I had asked board members to attend, with the exception of Mark and Megan, and this is no knock on anyone else here, so don't take it that way, you attended. And you gave your input to the community members who were there. We had an open dialogue. I thought it was amazing. And then when I eventually got elected onto the board, you became my trainee. You know, like you showed me the ropes in the time that we had together, and I truly appreciate it. And you know, it's funny is I can be on social media, let's say in the middle of the night, just scrolling for whatever reason, and all of a sudden I see you in a picture at some event, and I'm like, Terry's everywhere. How does she do this? I barely can do this. You know, I want to be at all the committees too, but I just can't do it. And you do it all, which is nothing short of astonishing and really amazing. So although your journey here, you know, has come to a close, I always see as one door closing as another one opens. And so I know for a fact we're going to continue to see you at every function that's out there if you can make it. And I know that you're also going to go out there and do some amazing things. So I'm looking forward to seeing what's next in your journey. So thank you for everything. Last but not least, my friend Megan. And I do mean that when I say that. You know, again, I'm going to share another story, which is there was a cold winter night that we had a parent exchange. It was a long time ago. And you walked up to me and you said, I hear you want to run for the board. And that's what kicked off our friendship, because before that, I really didn't know much about any of you, other than what I saw on YouTube, or the one time I was convinced by Sean to come to a meeting and just see what it was like before I decided to dive into this journey. And so I really just want to say I appreciate the mentorship, the personal talks, everything that we have gone through on this crazy journey we call life here in Greece Central. I see that you are an advocate, first and foremost, for families, children, safety, you know, just seeing the best outcome possible in Greece. And you may not have agreed with everybody here in this room, and that's okay. You brought a unique perspective that other people may not have had. And you stood up for what I consider the little guy or the underdog in many situations. And I think, you know, I will remember that, and I know many here will too. And I just want to extend my appreciation for you. Kind of like Terry, you're everywhere as well, but in different circles in terms of like politics and things like that. So I know we're going to see you do great things as well. And I'm also excited to see where your journey takes you. So thank you for everything.
It's like,
Silas, again, I reiterate what others have said. I, like Sean, was a little hesitant when I heard about having a student board representative, but it didn't take very long for me to realize that it was a very good thing. And Terry, you're the first one that ever suggested that I run for school board. This is when I was coming to meetings, and I think it was more a threat than a request. I'm not sure, but it's anyway. Enjoy your retirement, although I have a feeling that you're going to still be as active as you've ever been. And Megan, I want to thank you for thanking me when I spoke at Residents Forum. That was nice. And the other thing, you really have brought an energy to this board, always advocating for the student, for students, for families, for community, and the moral courage you had. And I remember a vote of 1-8 when you were the only one that disagreed with the former superintendent's punishment of a student and made a very, very good case. So if I'm ever in trouble, I may have you represent me in court. But I will miss you. And don't forget, first meeting of every month is Residents Forum. Well, just in case. Just in case you have something to share. God bless you.
Terry?
I finally get to say something? It's been 2 hours, 2.5 hours.
Take the hint.
Well, finally, no. First of all, my guy next door, thank you so much. I'm so thrilled I get to sit next to him. And you know, as a teacher, to have a student with me has been fabulous, and I wish you the best, and keep in touch and keep going. First, the regular stuff, because I've been to a few things. I want to congratulate Greece Arcadia's music program. For the 3rd year in a row, they won the Rochester Broadway Theater League Stars of Tomorrow Musical of the Year, which included all of Western New York, which is fabulous. And 2 of our students, Ian and Tessa, were selected to go to New York City as the best 2 performers in Western New York for the Jimmy Awards. So we'll be watching and hoping for them. Yeah, I've been around, and I've been to the Olympia's National Junior Honor Society induction, the annual 10-year celebration. I went to the emergency showcase, the Respond to Emergency Showcase. It was fabulous seeing kids doing CPR and being firefighters, and I'm a career educator, and I couldn't have been happier watching those kids in action. I got to go to the Student Summit and see the best of our students working together for the day. It was fabulous. I also went to senior conference day at Olympia, and any of my board members, if you get a chance, go and listen to students give you a summary of their education in Greece. It's a fabulous thing. Then I want to get into the whole Board of Education thing. I want to thank the community for electing me for the past 12 years. Your trust has been very appreciated. I've learned that it's difficult being in public when you're a board member, and I am asked the most asked question: do they teach cursive in school anymore? Which I have enjoyed tremendously, because my granddaughter, who's 13, when I showed her something in cursive, she said, "What does that say?" So that answered it right there. So I'm thankful for the community. I appreciate that. It's been an honor and a privilege to work with things that have happened in Greece in the past 12 years, like this building. And I'm most proud of the fact that we have solar panels up here on this building, but not enough power to do electric buses. Because wouldn't that be nice? Fields, turf fields and lights. I've been hearing about that since I moved to Greece 30 years ago, so that's kind of fun. The Early Learning Center and community schools. I am so excited. I was here at the beginning and watching it grow. I'd like to thank the 3 superintendents I had the opportunity to work with. They've taught me a lot about, as an educator, I never knew what they did other than giving speeches. Really, do we see any more? No. It was a privilege to get to know them and learn from them. I would like to thank my fellow board members. Do you know in the 12 years there have been 25 of us at this table? I counted. Now, one of my issues is Sean would always ask me to mentor them. And now I'm starting to think, did I do something wrong? Because many of them only lasted a year, but for lots of interesting reasons. A special thank you to our district clerk. And the past two district clerks I worked with, Lynn Armstrong and Deb Sabocek, they have a tough job. First of all, they run the election, so this year we had two. They have to provide us with all our information, and just FYR, this week's board packet was 360 some odd pages that have to be put together, have all of us receive it by Friday, and some of us actually get packets that come to our door. So thank you for all the work that you do. Finally, a thank you to Sean. He's taught me a lot about being a board member. Robert's Rules of Order, remember doing it in high school. Now we have to do it all the time. It's kind of funny. He also has spent a lot of time helping me with policies and understanding that there's that whole policy thing we have to follow, and has become a great friend. First met him before I was on the board on a 911 call when he came to my house 11 o'clock at night. So we've known each other for a while. And finally, we all come with an agenda. We have to admit we have an agenda. Mine were little things, maybe like the name of the Performing Arts Center. But the one thing I didn't accomplish, and I'm going to ask Romeo for help, the piano.
It's on my board.
Yeah, you say
Still on
that,
my
and
board.
nothing has happened. No.
I'm gonna move it up.
I have a connection with someone at the Eastman School of Music, and that's the kind of pianos they buy, so hopefully. Appreciate today, I appreciate everything, and thank you all. It's been a pleasure working with all of you.
Vice President Farmer? Oh, Megan, sorry, I missed you. I was going to do Terry before, or you before Terry.
That's
I thought
okay,
I got you.
either
I'm sorry.
or. I want to give our prayers to the Gleason family. What occurred overnight is unimaginable, and our thoughts and prayers are with them. I am so super glad to hear about Maloney during our board meeting, that he came through with flying colors, Semper Fi. When one door closes, several others opens, and I'm going to continue to work on our advocacy and our veterans with our women. It means something to me. And I also want to, I usually mention the retirees. Thank you for everything that you guys do every single year. We're coming to the close of the year. There's been many retirees, and I appreciate your service. Silas, thank you for being the first student board member ever. There's a lot more to come, and you have done so much. Terry, you are one of my mentors, and we had some great times. It was lovely getting together. We had a lot of great talks. You are truly going to be missed. You had a lot of years on the board, so thank you so much for your service. To the board cabinet, most of you are all new. You've been promoted while I've been here at the board, so congratulations as well. This is a great thing for you guys as well. Jeremy, you as well. You have been a rock in all of this. You championed for so many things for a great community and more achievement for students. And I appreciate you listening to all of us. I would say Mark, but I'm going to turn this to Mayor. Mayor, really, you were the rock of all of this. It was not Mark. Thank you for keeping me sane. I promise it will only be down to one phone call a day, not two like it was. Good luck with your Crosswaves nonprofit, Butler. That's great things to hear about that. And, oh my goodness, Tracy, you have, from the beginning, 4 years ago, before I was even on the board, you were the only one that came out You wanted to talk to us, you wanted to hear from parents, you wanted to get issues done. I appreciate your time with that. It's been instrumental. Sean, Board President, I appreciate you have taught us so much, and I don't even know if you realize that. So I appreciate everything that you have shown us here. I'm sure we'll see more of that from you as well. Mary and Jordan, thank you for doing this. Being on the Board of Education is not always fun. I feel like sometimes you're studying for the bar exam, and there's a lot to it with policy and procedure. So I appreciate you guys taking on the role of this. I appreciate my time here. Thank you all for the service and for letting me be here. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Vice President Farmer?
So I'm going to start with you, Silas. When I would hear you speak, like right now at board comment, I'd sit here and say, this kid is incredible. You're amazing. And I'm looking forward to all the rest of the beautiful things that are in store for you as you continue to grow. And you're a senior next year, right? Yeah. Terry, I sit here and I say to myself, 7 years ago, this is how long ago that we've been here. And I remember when we were both with my grandson and your granddaughter, and we saw each other in the eyeglass store, and it was this cute little thing, and it was nice seeing you out of this element, even though we've been to breakfast or we've been to lunch with our families. And I thank you for all your years of service as a teacher, as a board member, and I appreciate watching you and modeling so many things. And listening to you say, okay, she did this, she did this, she did this. And I used to keep up, and I'd say, how do you get all these dates? And, oh, I just look, okay. So I'm still working on that. Megan, when I think about you, the first time that I met you, and how we talked, and it was just so meaningful to see you in that role and just be so out there and transparent about what was happening. And we talked, and I think at that point we cemented ourselves together, as weird as that might be, but we did in a moment of tension for you and your kids. I mean, it was during COVID, so it was, everything was crazy. The one thing that I really admired is when you would congratulate every person that was retiring in our district. And I just found that so meaningful that you would point out and name the names of the people who had served our district and our community. And everybody who's graduating and summertime, it's been great. And we'll see you in, September? Thank you. I'm going to keep it short. Everybody else has said what they have said, and I back up all of that.
Thank you. Terry, just so you know, next month, we will be recognizing Ian and Tessa for they couldn't make it tonight. We were hoping to do it tonight with you here, but we couldn't do it tonight. So I apologize for that, but if you want to come back next month, you're more than welcome. There you go. So many things I want to hit on. Lori Manhart is our new board clerk. She rock starred the election. She did a fabulous job for coming in January. You did an amazing job. We had a little bit of an issue with our one vendor that day, and you handled it with grace and profession, and we got through it that day, and it was a lot of work on your part, and the election's a lot of work, and you did an amazing job. I just wanted to say that to you. You made it seamless, and there was a lot of positive feedback from all of our election workers on how you ran things, so I just want to thank you for that. Like Terry said, we attended the Responding to Emergencies showcase, and that is an amazing event with our community partners, Monroe Ambulance, all the fire departments were there, the police department was there. It's a great event for our kids, but it's also a great event for the program, and to see these kids who a couple years ago wouldn't have known the first thing about what a fire hydrant was, and now they're getting water out of a fire hydrant and put it into a truck is amazing. You know, doing CPR, I mean, you know, putting up ladders, putting out fires, breaching a door, and, you know, really working on, and if you're not familiar with breaching a door, it's not the easiest thing in the world, and these kids, I mean, you know, some smaller kids, they did it, and they worked hard, and it was an amazing experience to see them do that. And I would encourage everybody next year, if you're on the board or in the public, and when the Responding to Emergency Showcase comes up, I highly recommend you attend it because it really highlights what some of our career pathways look like. And it's, for me, it's the satisfaction of seeing kind of the culmination of where our students are. Attended the 10-year celebration a couple weeks ago, and, you know, as a board member, there's a lot of things I love, and there's some things I don't, but the 10-year celebration is one of them. Seeing people come into the district, they come in as new teachers, new administrators, whatever position they're in, and they achieve tenure, which is quite the accomplishment. Achieving tenure today isn't what it was like 20, 30 years ago. It's a lot more rigorous, there's a lot more evaluation, there's a lot more involved in it. I mean, I think probably way back in the day, some people got tenure and it was just somebody signed a piece of paper and nobody had any idea what they did in the classroom. But today, it's a robust evaluation process, and all of these people got it. I was so happy to have them in our Greece Central family and hope they have long careers here in Greece. Retirement celebration next week. A couple of my colleagues sit on the retirements of, you know, we have so many amazing people that work in this district, and it's also one of my favorite events in the district to thank people for what this, you know, the service they've given to this community, our students, our families. It's truly a great event, and it's a reward at the end of a long career. In every career, there's good days and bad days. Some days you love work, some days you absolutely hate work. And retirement is the culmination of that, and it's a true honor, and I want to thank all our retirees, whether they're going to be at the celebration next week or not. I want to thank them for their service to this community. Weapons detection, I want to give a shout out to Mr. Fleming. He's been another rock star when it comes to this, how the weapons detection system rolled out. A couple kinks at Arcadia when it first came out, kink today, you know, or yesterday at Olympia, and his leadership and skill have got it figured out. I've heard nothing but good things. Normally I get complaints about that it's raining today, but I haven't gotten one complaint about the weapons detection systems. I mean, parents are supportive. They feel their kids are safer. I was at Olympia today. I had a bunch of kids tell me they feel way better within the system, and the staff is ecstatic. I mean, the staff is like Mr. Fleming said, at Olympia today, they're like, cell phones aren't an issue anymore. It's actually amazing. So I want to thank him for his leadership and guidance. Look forward to how it rolls out. I thank my colleagues on the Board of Education. It wasn't an easy decision to make to go with weapons detection systems. We were the first school district in the county to do it, and I think it speaks volumes to this board and our leadership. Senior conferences. I was lucky enough to attend senior conferences today at Greece Olympia, and I had the privilege of sitting with 5 absolutely amazing students: Simon, Kareem, Merlissa, Blessed, and Hannah. And all 5 students, very different backgrounds, very different stories. They're all graduating, and it's kind of like it was, you know, one of them really was Hannah Rockstrom. She's actually going to be speaking at graduation at Olympia. She's an amazing young woman. I mean, you hear her story, things she's went through, and for her she presented like she was 30, getting a job as a CEO at a Fortune 500 company. I mean, she was absolutely, I was awed. There's not many people that awe me, and she awed me. And then I was thinking back, as a board member, I had a part in this. All 5 of these kids today, we had a part in. And I look at that as we head into graduation, and probably graduation for me is the favorite event we do as a board and as a school district, because graduation is the culmination, you know, from time, and for some of us that have been around probably too long, these kids weren't in school when I started on this Board of Education. So to see them now, after all these years, coming through and graduating, it's so rewarding, because some of them it's a struggle. Some of them it's a real struggle, but they get there. And it's probably one of that, when you see the look in the families and how happy and excited families are, it's like, yep, there's a lot of Tuesdays, you know, I think about hanging myself in my basement, but it's rewarding at the end of the day, because we get to that point of these kids are amazing. And, you know, not everybody's gonna have 100, but not everybody's gonna have 50, but they work hard to get there. And I think it's super important that we recognize them and we appreciate the work we do as a Board of Education, as a superintendent, as superintendent's cabinet, all of our staff, all of our employees, our bus drivers, our security, our food service workers. Everybody plays a part in getting them there. And I think it's super important that we realize that and everybody takes a step back and thinks about that, because I don't think anybody ever really thinks about it truly. So I'd like everybody just to take a minute to think about that. This is our last meeting of the 24-25 school year. Next meetings will start the 25-26 school year, and it'll be July 15th. Summer's a time to relax, wind down, recharge, because we gear right back up in August, and we're full bore in August, and it'll go all the way to this time next year. So I want to thank everyone. I want to congratulate again in my finishing remarks. Silas, you never cease to amaze me. Megan, it's been a true pleasure to work with you. Terry, the friendship. I can't say anything more than that. And with that, I need a motion to adjourn, and Terry, it's on you.
Make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
I'm going to give it to Megan because it's her last meeting. With that, all those in favor? All right, awesome. Thank you, everyone. Oh, settle down.